Holy shit, I'm gonna come.
Because I just went gay all of a sudden.
Paps Blue Ribbon!
I'm Charles Foster Kane.
Snap out of it! Ahoy, sexy!
It's showtime, folks.
What is up, Criteria Cats? You are listening to Criteria Cast, the only podcast about the Criterion Collection that matters. Join us as we discuss the films that make us feel smarter than everyone else for having seen them. Today we are stepping into the closet to pull out Stanley Kubrick's 1975 masterpiece, Barry Lyndon. I am your host, AJ.
I'm that other host, Gabe.
And our other host, Noah, is out for the night, but joining us to talk about this film is three-time guest of the pod and former roommate of mine, Jarren Lucas.
Hello.
Always glad to have you back on the pod, Jarren.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, we're glad to get you on for a real movie and not to talk about fucking like Batman v Superman.
No. We had him on also for In the Mood for Love.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Real movies.
Okay,
yeah. Keep this streak going. So I haven't listened to the other episode, but Jarren, what's your relation to like the Criterion and the Criterion Collection? Do you own any Criterions? Are you subscribed?
I do have the subscription.
Nice.
I got it about a year ago, and they got a lot of good stuff on there. Like, yeah, it's nice to scratch my nerdy, moody, movie-ish side, you know?
You're cinephile.
All my pretentious picks.
And what's your relation to Stanley Kubrick? Do you have a favorite? Are you up to date on his filmography?
I think Barry Lyndon may be my favorite.
Hell yeah.
He's probably someone I need to get. Well, I mean, he's never missed, if you ask me. Everything I've seen from him is great, but I do have some major blind spots with him. But I think I've caught most of the really good ones you say. I know I love Eyes Wide Shut, and I've seen Full Metal Jacket, and some other ones here and there when I was younger. But I do think Barry Lyndon was probably the peak for me.
That's excellent. I love this going into it. We're gonna do plot. But before then, Gabe, this is your first time seeing Barry Lyndon, right?
It is. Yeah, it is. The fucking range on Kubrick's insane. 2001, this FMJ. This guy doesn't fucking miss. It doesn't matter the genre. It doesn't matter the time period. He's not specific with it. Like his vision is so broad when it comes to like making interesting characters and interesting settings, and then being really meticulous. This movie was so fucking meticulous.
Yeah, that Kubrick, he's very anal about his composition and shots. But overall, you like this one?
I loved it. It was, I mean, it lost points because it was like, oh, the British Army. But once I got over that fact and he went over to Germany, I was pretty happy. It was just a really fun experience overall, and it looked amazing.
I know. I'm so glad to hear that. I was very worried you were going to come on with like, oh, it was boring or something, and
Nah.
I would have to end the podcast.
We like speak bad on Barry Lyndon podcast over 2 minutes.
Yeah. All right. So right now I'm going to go over the plot for anyone who hasn't seen the movie, which if you haven't, fuck you. So it starts, you get like a brief glimpse of Barry Lyndon's father, how he died in a duel over the sale of horses. And that just immediately sets up the world as being like just so bleak and arbitrary, and like everyone dies for a stupid reason, and that's just the fate of everyone. And this whole movie is kind of about fate that you can't ignore. Like if you're born a poor, dumb Irish idiot, you're gonna die that way, and that's just the way the news goes. But from there we meet Redmond Barry, who is in love with his cousin Nora. They play a real steamy game of cards. She hides a ribbon in her chest and dares him to find it. They start a secret romance until Captain Quinn, the most British-looking man of all time, comes to the village and woos her with his weird chicken dance.
Dude, yeah, please, let's get into that chicken dance. That was so funny.
We need to do like 30 minutes on Captain Quinn. All right.
It's such a minor character, left such a like mark in my head because of how goofy and British he was. His little like strut.
He has the most British face of all time. Yeah, his funny little chicken dance, his mating dance for Nora. That's hilarious. This movie is so funny. Like, I know it's been said by film Twitter, but I was not prepared when I first watched it for how fucking funny this movie is.
Well, also like I
It's
like the
pretty
idea.
fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Like I love the idea like he's like this like supposed to be this like grizzled war captain, but when he gets like challenged to a duel, he's like pissing himself. Despite the
Yeah,
fact that he's cheated, he cheated it too. Like he
yeah.
knew he was gonna like not die, and he's like still pissing himself over it.
I know he's just scared at the mere idea of being shot, even with toe, whatever. I need to Google
Oh,
it.
yeah,
What is toe? I assumed it was just like flour or something. Oh, it's
yeah,
cocking tools.
okay. It's a weird. Anyways, but yeah,
But yeah, so
yeah.
Barry gets in a duel with Captain Quinn over his cousin who he wants to bang, and he
Weird too.
thinks
That
that
was
he
yeah.
kills Captain Quinn. So they're like, "All right, you have to get out of town, go on the lam," and thus begins the story of what means Redmond Barry acquired the style and title of Barry Lyndon, and he just roams about kind of willy nilly, and he gets robbed by a highwayman named Captain Feeney. Who, fun fact, Captain Feeney was a real highwayman who would rob people, and the author of the book just wrote him in because he was so famous. He was such a famous robber.
That was the most polite mugging I've ever seen.
I know, right?
Like he,
That's the whole thing. Like this whole movie is like everyone's just fucking each other over and doing awful things, but they're so polite about it. I was like, "Please, may I have your horse, sir?"
with like two guns in his face, like, all right, lad, stepped off the horse. I'll leave you with your boots.
Hmm. Yeah, it's such a scathing satire of how they fancy themselves as such gentlemen, but really they're just like murderers and swindlers, and they're always gonna fuck someone over to get to the top.
It's hilarious, like so, ever so like grimy and reprehensible, but they got like pounds of makeup and like fake moles.
That
Yeah,
was so weird to see the fake mole. I was like, what the fuck is on this guy's face right now?
yeah, with
He,
the Chevalier,
yeah, I thought he had some melanomas on his skin. I was like, ew, you gotta get that looked at, dude.
and you know they smelled awful under that.
Oh,
Like they didn't shower, they were sweating profusely.
oh, you guys want to hear a weird Viking fact that plays into England?
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
uh, the British used to like go like talk shit about the Vikings because the Vikings like bathed every day. They're like, look at them washing themselves every day. What fucking that's so indulgent and grotesque because they like bathe regularly. You know, British people smell like must smell bad
Yeah, to this day.
to this day. Still, yeah,
Yeah, so after Barry gets robbed, he joins the army like so many young, desperate men have, which I don't know if that was intentionally a satire of like the US military, but it was very similar to the way that recruitment officers work on people who have no money and no prospects in the world. So he joins the British Army and he fights Germany in the Seven Years' War, which I love how they set up the Seven Years' War in the movie. It's just like, it's too complicated to explain. It's a war. You get the idea.
I mean, there's no good reason for the seven. Like, there's no good reason for any war, but that one I'm sure is also a convoluted mess of bullshit.
Yeah, I ain't bothering to look that up, but he's in the war. He meets up with his old friend Captain Grogan, where he finds out that he didn't actually kill Captain Quinn and that Quinn married his cousin Nora, which again is
Yeah.
just another so funny at how stupid Barry is. He's like, "Oh, is there another Captain Quinn?"
Also, the whole idea for this duel is like he's trying to fight a man for the rights to fuck his cousin. What a weird thing, also. Like,
It was the
just
old times. There was like three women in the village and one's his mom, you know?
yeah, that's true. That's very true. But still, but yeah,
Yeah. So he finds out that everyone in the town conspired together to just get him to leave, which it's funny that just like so much of this movie is people conspiring to get Barry out of there because they just hate him. A little stinker.
I mean, he was fighting for the rights to fuck his cousin. I wouldn't want anything to do with him. If a family member of mine was like trying to like box for my cousin's like virginity, I'd want him out of my family too. I'd try to get rid
Yeah.
of him.
Yeah, especially if
When I first
the
watched it, I had to like, excuse me, I had to Google the plot to make sure I was like, he is going for his cousin, right? And that's kind of a good introduction to the character and what was going to come from him. Like at the beginning, they let you know from the beginning he's not your normal hero, and he's not exactly someone whose side you're going to be on by the end of it.
Yeah, he's just a piece of shit from the start to the end. His character, he does one noble thing, which we'll talk about at the end, and it ends up with him facing the worst consequences. He's just a bastard who grinds his way to the top and loses everything. So after he's in the British Army, he gets fed up with war and he leaves. He briefly becomes entangled with this German lady. And then he runs into someone in the Prussian army, and he pretends that he's a British officer or something, but just immediately gives himself away because he has no idea what he's talking about. He's one of the dumbest people in Ireland, probably. And he's found out immediately, and they force him to join the Prussian army, which Prussian was Germany, right?
Germany, yeah. Or other places, but primarily. But it's funny that he found himself fighting on like England and then Germany's side in a war. That's the weirdest thing ever, right?
Yeah, well, it's because it just also speaks to the fact that he has no morals or any allegiance. He'll do whatever he can to make it to the top.
And then neither do these like armies that are based on honor. They're like, yeah, we'll just take anybody. Fuck it. You're a slave for war now. Have fun. That's what he was, honestly.
Yeah, wouldn't they like kidnap people to join the war too?
Kids, yeah. Anybody.
Like, we just need bodies.
What happened to him?
Yeah, basically. That literally is what happened. He got kidnapped. It's like we just need bodies to walk in a straight line towards the enemy while playing a flute.
Drum.
Oh my god.
That was like
that was brutal.
Dude, war back then was the dumbest shit. Like, they were still fighting like they had swords, but like, okay, line up and shoot at those guys out in the open as well. Like, come on. No one thought like, hey, maybe we should get behind something, huh? No, but they also the narrator kicked in too when he's like, yeah, they'll just like break every rule and moral to get bodies in the army as he's like recruiting like 13-year-olds to fight.
Yeah, because again, they have this facade that they're gentlemen and conduct war in a gentle way where they all line up very proper and walk towards the enemy, even though realistically it's the dumbest plan for war and they're all kidnapped 12-year-olds. They're all wearing fancy coats, so it must be proper.
They had some drip back then, let me tell you though. Everyone's outfit was kind of cool.
A little fun fact about that. So some of the costumes they wear in the movie are actually from that time period.
You mean like antiques?
Yeah, they're antiques from the 18th century when this takes place.
That's kind of crazy that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, where were we? Okay, so he saves Captain Pottstorff's life in the battle. He's awarded for his bravery, which, again, was he really being that brave? He just kind of, like, shoots people and moves a dude out of the way. Like, it's never really established if Barry's even good at being a soldier. He's just kind of lucky.
I mean, he apparently he's good because he like. Well, okay, that's all. We'll get to that when we get there, I guess. But I mean, he's good enough to like be an enforcer later on in his life.
Mm-hmm. Then he's employed by Captain Pottstorff's uncle to be a spy. He spies on the Austrians, but then just like immediately gives himself away. Again, he's just like, all right, I see something better. He's like, I'm actually Irish. Like, it's 2 sentences and he just gives himself away.
Isn't he just like, wait, you're Irish? Yeah, I'm Irish.
Yeah,
I'm on your side now.
Yeah. And then he goes to work for the Chevalier and helps him win at cards. He cheats people at cards, and when they call him on it, he fights them to the death with swords.
Yeah.
And that was just life back then, you know? You just cheated at cards, and if someone called you on it, you had to stab them.
I like how like the one remedy is like, I think you're cheating. That's time to die, bitch, or time to fight to the death. Also, the dueling aspect of their culture is like, all right, little disagreement about like, you crossed my property line. That's actually my property line. All right, there's one way to settle this. Get your fucking gun. Let's go.
I know this is the thing. That's like the gentleman way. Is that they're like, well, we have a disagreement, so we are going to shoot each other.
And if you die, I must be right.
Yeah, that was a legally binding case back then. Was if you shot someone before they shot you.
So like I like also later on like there's like two styles of dueling where you shoot each other at the same time or you take turns, which I
Hmm.
feel like is like really like you're really at an advantage if you go first because it's just like all right, well let's just shoot this bitch real quick in the
Unless
leg.
you're Lord Bullingdon, in which case,
Yeah,
we'll get to him.
yeah.
I love that scene so much. It's
He's the man.
Lord
The biggest
Bullingdon.
pussy in cinema history.
He's such a good quivering pussy in this. Like no, just his face, his neutral face, just looks like
Yeah.
such a whiny little shit.
Oh yeah, he definitely looks like your little cousin or something
Hmm.
like that. Like
Yeah, like both the child and the adult version of Lord Bullingdon are just pitch perfect in their portrayal of a little rich shithead who's gotten everything he wants and cries whenever he doesn't get his way. All right, so from there, Barry and the Chevalier go across Europe. They gamble, they do their scams, and then he gets to Spa, which is in Belgium. Which is fun fact I learned that like spas are named after Spa,
Belgians.
Belgium,
Oh,
and he encounters the beautiful and wealthy Countess of Lyndon, who is married to Sir
Sade.
Charles Lyndon. Sade. And she is gorgeous. She
yeah.
is an actual. The actress was an actual model in real life. She had done some other film work, like she was in Cabaret, which is how Kubrick saw her. But she's spot on. She's married to a dying sack of potatoes named
With
Charles
gout.
Lyndon. Yeah,
That
he's just
gout.
like coughing and wheezing at the table. It's so fucking funny the way he's like, "You will never marry my wife,"
Oh,
and then just like has a heart attack.
that's a hilarious scene too. One
Yeah.
question, but one question before we get to there is, how do you think he got her knocked up? Because like gout and like he can't move. I'm
I know.
just
I
like,
was thinking that too, like in regards to Lord Bullingdon. I was like, okay, he's about 10 years old. Have they had sex in that last 10 years at all? Surely they couldn't have.
yeah, I feel so bad for her on that
Must have
account
been a
too.
rough 10 years on him.
Mhm.
No, but one of my favorite pieces of dialogue I've ever heard is like, I'd rather be known as a cuckold than a fool. It's like, no, I'll take the fool any day. I'll be a fuck. Call me ridiculous instead of a cuck. That's kind of best.
Is Sir Charles Lyndon the biggest cuck in history? Because not only
Oh
did
yeah,
Barry take his wife, he took his last name.
yeah. Oh, and his kid. He took his house, his kid, his wife.
Yeah, Gabe, as our resident homewrecker, would you say that
Hey,
Sir
don't call me
Charles
out.
Lyndon is the biggest cuck? Would you cuck Sir Charles Lyndon? Do you think
Oh,
you
in a
could?
heartbeat. Yeah. I think it'd be pretty easy to cuck him just because it's like, hey, I can walk. You want to fuck? Maybe.
I have,
I might be poor, but I think I have better prospects for satisfying a woman.
as long as you're not a dying mashed potato monster, you're already
Yeah.
better than him.
Yeah.
So that was the first act of Barry Lyndon because it's split into two acts. From there, you get an intermission, which I love. I love a movie that splits in two. That's some shit that I would love to come back, but also, it has to be a real movie. Like, I don't want. I'm gonna break the rule. I don't want Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania to be split into two acts.
Can you imagine it's like an intermission where like Ant-Man's like getting big and you're like, come back in a minute to see what happens. It's like, oh, he's gonna be fucking big. I can tell you what happens next.
Containing an account of the misfortunes and disasters which befell Tony Stark.
I am Iron Man. Okay, we're
All
done.
right, no, wait.
Yeah.
I got one more thing to say. Since we've already broken the rule,
Yeah, okay.
I was thinking about like
Didn't take
in, re-
long.
in regards to this movie, like how good it looks in cinematography. I was like, God damn, Marvel really spends $200 million to make their movies look that way. When all you have to do is just take a camera to Ireland and film a mountain.
Yeah, it's not that hard to find like really enticing. Like even the US, it's really easy to find a beautiful place. You don't have to go very far.
Well, wouldn't you rather just be on like a soundstage in front of a green screen?
I was on Winning Time, and the scene takes place in an arena, but it was just a green screen room. And I was like, this must be just so exhausting as an actor to constantly have to pretend like you're in a place or pretend you're talking to a person that you're not.
Yeah. It can't be expensive to like go to an arena off season, right? Like nothing's happening. Also, arenas are stupid in general, but it's like
Yeah,
they
go to
can't.
fucking crypto.com is right in the area. Just go there.
We're here in crypto arena.
Do you think Barry would have invested in crypto if he was?
Dude, yeah, the way he was investing his family's money, he surely would have. Yeah.
And he wouldn't have been an investor. He would have been one of the guys like
Oh,
pawning it off on other people. He would have been
oh
like
yeah.
selling the NFTs and getting rich off it and leaving people with worthless bags, worthless JPEGs.
I love the fact of just the idea of an NFT is like, yeah, it's this picture of a monkey, but this one he has like a helmet on. It's like, come on, guys, like quit.
So after the intermission, we go to part 2, which is entitled "Containing an Account of the Misfortunes and Disasters Which Befell Barry Lyndon." First of all, love the titles in this movie. They are what they are. Nothing more I can say. Just love them. They're so fancy, but also concise. And it's about 10 years later, and Barry has married Lady Lyndon and has taken her last name. They have a son, not Lord Bullingdon, but Lady Lyndon and Barry have a son named Brian. And Barry is just constantly cheating on her because he's a little playboy. I love the scene where he's just like blowing smoke in her face too.
Yeah.
And he's just sucking on that
That's
pipe.
That's like the thing I remember the most. He was like, "Damn, bro, gonna do her like that."
Yeah, just some dumb Irish peasant marries some royalty and immediately starts treating her like shit.
As a guy that's had a girl that like hates the fact that I like smoke or vape, I could kind of relate to that. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of funny.
Just like you.
Shit, fuck, okay.
Barry's mother also comes to live with him, and she gives him the idea that he has to get some land and money because as soon as Lady Lyndon dies, like he's gonna be screwed. Lord Bullingdon hates him, and probably rightfully so. But also that kid definitely just wants to fuck his mom.
Yeah, dude, that one scene at his little brother's birthday where he's sitting with holding her hand. What the fuck? That was so unappealing. He was like 19.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, fun fact, they two actors are only a year apart in age, the adult Lord Bullingdon and Lady Lyndon.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Phew.
I know, you can't really tell. That's one thing about this movie is that the aging is so seamless that I think Barry Lyndon in the first scene is supposed to be like 17 or something, but
Yeah.
Ryan O'Neal, the actor, was probably in his late 30s.
Yeah, I was like, how old is he? Is he like 28 or what's going on
Well,
there?
he's just a young man. Like, you don't need to get super specific. Like, yeah, he's playing it a little younger. He's a little more naive and whiny. And then when he gets older, they add a little bit of old age makeup and he acts a little more reserved. Like, he's still a piece of shit and a swindler, but he's not like, my love, oh, I want to marry me cousin.
Also, can we talk about the accent real quick? I felt
Yeah.
is O'Neill from the U.S. or from Ireland?
Yeah,
'Cause I couldn't tell.
Ryan O'Neal is an American actor, and we'll talk
Yeah.
about him because he's one of Hollywood's most famous assholes, and there's a lot of baggage that comes with him. But yeah, that's a big complaint about him is that his accent is just god awful in the
Yeah.
movie.
Well, sometimes it kicks in like way over exaggerated, and other times you're like,
Mhm.
he's just like me for real. That's how I talk.
Personally, I don't mind it. I think it works with his like swindler nature that he just doesn't even sound like a real person. There's just nothing there besides the fact that he wants wealth and power.
It doesn't even sound like he's like from the land. He's just like born from the fucking muck in the sewers, like cockroach creature.
Yeah. Crawls his way to the top by lying and swindling. And then there's not so much like a plot progression at this point. It's more just like vibes. But there's a scene where Lord Bullingdon crashes a birthday party that Barry throws for Lady Lyndon, and he just like loudly declares that he hates Barry, and he's gonna leave the family estate as long as Barry Lyndon lives there, which I might be misremembering, but I think that comes after the scene where he gets spanked by Barry.
Yeah, as an adult, like, or basically an adult, he gets his ass beat, and he's like, I shall never tolerate you touching me again. It's like, you just did. I don't know, man.
Yeah, and it's very clear that like Barry loves his own kid and just hates this little shit. And
Yeah.
again, rightfully so. He's a little shit. They both should hate each other. And then we get to Master Brian, the Master Brian of it all. So I had this. I was going to wear this for the show, and I was going to say that I was cosplaying as the horse that kills Brian Lyndon, but I couldn't get it to fit with the headphones on. But yeah, Barry gives Brian a horse for his birthday, and that horse ends up killing Brian, the little precocious boy. He's always like, "Daddy, I love you. Can I have a horse?" And then there's actually like a really good emotional scene where the kid's dying, and he's just like, "I can't lift my hands. Please promise not to quarrel. It makes
Yeah.
me ever so sad." And then you see just the little child coffin being wheeled down. Uh, and then Barry just kind of sinks lower and lower. He starts getting drunk, and people have to carry him back to his room. Lady Lyndon tries to kill herself. And then after she attempts suicide, Lord Bullingdon comes back and challenges Barry to a duel for his honor. I demand satisfaction.
Satisfaction. Dude, that guy is so good at playing a nervous, anxious wreck.
Yeah, he's got such weasel face.
Oh, quick callback. Also, though, quick callback over one detail to all those baby listeners out there. All of our babies in the audience right now.
They're Criteria cats now, Gabe.
I know, but quick callback to the babies era. Was during what was it? Marionette? Was it?
Yeah, Marie Antoinette. I almost said Marie Antoinette. Because
That's what I was thinking. During that era, that was such an obvious pull from this movie was the coffin scene. Anyways, that was on my mind.
Yeah, that's a bad movie. Let's go back to talking about this
Yeah.
good movie. So Lord Bullingdon challenges Barry to a duel, and Barry agrees because he probably wants to kill the kid, but they load the guns, and then Lord Bullington's misfires, and it's maybe the funniest part of the movie when his gun misfires. It makes me cackle every time I watch it. Just the suddenness, and then his face like.
I also love how he just starts throwing up too. He's like,
Yeah, he actually threw up. That's the real throw up in the scene too.
what? How did he pull that?
So what they did was they made him hold an egg in his mouth as long as he could, and then called action, and then just the second he started vomiting, they followed him. So that's real throw up in the scene.
Wow.
Which just adds to it, because this little shitty kid's like, finally I'll kill my stepdad, and then just fucks up right away. And because of the weird rules they make for this gentleman's society, they're like, well, your gun misfired, so it is Barry Lyndon's turn now. And then, Barry does the one kind act in the entire movie. He throws away his shot, his one just minuscule instance of having a heart, and they're like, are you satisfied, Lord Bullingdon? And he just shakes his head and then shoots Barry in the leg. Doesn't even kill him, just makes him lose a leg. And then he offers Barry the chance to just get 500 guineas every year if he leaves England forever. And Barry accepts because he's like, well, I'm already out of favor with all of these aristocrats. There's a scene of him at an old-timey restaurant and no one will talk to him, what the fuck were restaurants back then? Did they have a kitchen staff? We got some mutton that's been on the table for 3 weeks.
No, I like how the waiter is like, the roast beef's pretty good. He's like, I don't know about it. I'll take your word for it.
It's like half the food on the menu is gonna make you shit yourself to death.
Also, we have to keep in mind it's also English cuisine, so it's like, what are you gonna get?
We got some toe pie.
Beef or ham? How about some beans on toast for you, sire?
Yeah, so Barry accepts the offer. It ends with Lady Lyndon writing a check to him, and she's just like, this fucking guy. I bore him a son. I spent so many years, and now he's just living in Ireland collecting my money. And then the final text of the movie says something along the lines of, rich or poor, they're all equal now. Just basically to say, so everything that happened in this movie doesn't matter because they all died anyway. And no one remembers them, which I love. The final joke of the movie being that, none of this mattered. For everything he did, stabbing people in the back, taking other people's wives, none of it mattered. And that's the plot of Barry Lyndon. Now let's get into the production of Barry Lyndon. Because every Stanley Kubrick movie, it's extensive and took years to make. and probably way too complicated than it needed to be. But let me take a long sip of this tea. All right, so this came out after A Clockwork Orange, but he began working on it right after 2001. It was actually, he was working on a Napoleon movie about Napoleon Bonaparte, which was like his great movie that he always wanted to make. It was his Waterloo, if you will. But the financiers for that movie pulled out when another Napoleon movie tanked at the box office, and they're like, okay, well, no one wants to see historical dramas with fancy costumes. So then Kubrick focused on a smaller story made by William Makepeace Thackeray called The Luck of Barry Lyndon, which Kubrick described as a satirical picaresque about the fortune hunting of an Irish rogue. And I can't find a better description of Barry Lyndon.
Honestly,
Yeah, it was originally announced just as an 18th century costume piece starring Hollywood asshole Ryan O'Neal. Which, do you guys know anything about Ryan O'Neal?
not a thing, no.
Really not. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else either.
All right, I'm going to get into Ryan O'Neal because he's one of Hollywood's least favorite people. He was a star in like the early 70s. He was in the movie Love Story, which if you've ever heard the quote, love means never having to say you're sorry, it comes from that. It was like the #1 movie of the year, and he was the star of that, so that propelled him to stardom. He was in a bunch of Peter Bogdanovich movies like Paper Moon and What's Up, Doc? And he was just an abusive asshole behind the set to everyone. Like Paper Moon, it stars his real life daughter Tatum O'Neal, who was 7, and she's fucking great in the movie. She got nominated for an Oscar and ended up winning. And when he found out she was nominated for an Oscar and he wasn't, he punched her.
How old was she?
She was 7.
Holy fuck! What the fuck?
Yeah, she didn't talk to him for decades once she became an adult because of just his rampant abuse and just being a general prick behind the scenes. Like, he hated Barry Lyndon as well. He said it was boring, and he was displeased that they didn't use his voiceover. He's got many other transgressions with various ex-wives and production mishaps, but we're gonna breeze past that. Kubrick liked O'Neal. He was also forced to cast a leading man if he wanted to get money, and at that point Ryan O'Neal was the second most bankable actor in Hollywood because he has a really good screen presence. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen Paper Moon or What's Up, Doc, but he's really good in both of those. Those are both really funny and cute movies.
So was his claim to fame like rom-com? Or like
Yeah, kind of. Cause I don't know if Love Story is a comedy. It's a sweeping romance, but like What's Up, Doc is a rom-com. It's very goofy. It stars Barbara Streisand. He's very funny in that. Paper Moon is about he plays like a con man who goes across the country with a little girl who might be his daughter, and they just pull schemes and scams along the way, and it's really cute and funny. And Kubrick got O'Neal for the part, which is one of many Kubrick castings where I think he's making fun of the actors in the movie by casting him. Like this and Eyes Wide Shut are
Tom
both
Cruise,
examples of, I think him picking those actors is him like making fun of their star prowess. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get this dude to play the vacant, no talent hack who scams his way to the top and is an asshole to everyone. Just like how he got Tom Cruise to play a short, insecure cuck.
Dude, Kubrick is on another level as far as dissing people.
Kubrick is so
That's
funny.
like probably why I love Eyes Wide Shut so much.
Mm-hmm.
Because it seems like the whole joke is on Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise seems like a prick.
Yeah, apparently they got along really well. Like, they just hung out, but... back to the production of Barry Lyndon. Principal photography lasted 300 days. It started in spring of 1973 and ended in 1974.
Yeah, wow.
Apparently, Ryan O'Neal was only scheduled for like 180 days, so everything after that was overtime for him. And filming originally started in Ireland, which was doubling for England and Prussia, but this was being filmed during the Troubles, which... Gabe, do you know the Troubles? Seems like you would know about the Troubles, if anyone.
Nah, that's a blind spot for history of me.
Yeah,
Is that 1970 stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, the Troubles, that's what the movie Belfast is about, but basically it's
With IRA, is this the IRA when
Yeah,
they're
the
coming?
IRA.
Oh yeah, okay, I do know about this then. Yeah, when they're like doing their little stage like bombings, right?
Yeah, so that's the
Yeah,
reason they had to move from Ireland is that the IRA was mad. Kubrick was making a movie in Ireland about the English army, and they
yeah,
put him on a hit list. And so when Kubrick was informed about that, he moved to England. And there were a couple scenes they had to just fully scrap because the
oh
places
yeah,
they were going to film them at got bomb threats.
yeah. It's like we're going to Dublin.
Dublin.
Okay, never mind. Let's get the
Yeah.
fuck out of here.
Yeah, so they moved it to England. This movie famously was mainly shot with natural light and candles, uh, and they used special NASA lenses. And it features the lowest
Excuse me.
f-stop in film history, which basically means like the camera's like as much light as possible. Get in here right now. Like it was so dark that they. Um, I'm not as good with cameras, so I'm gonna cut most of this out, but. They just basically made it as wide as possible to get the most light in because everything was being lit by these candles, which were especially made for the movie. Their wicks were 3 times larger than normal candle size. And this use of natural light actually ended up protecting the historical locations they filmed at because they didn't have to install the modern lighting fixtures or the various appliances that would go along with that. Yeah, and it's a beautiful fucking movie because
It
of this.
is. Yeah. Every
Uh,
outdoor scene is so fucking perfectly lit.
oh my
Just I
god,
think
yeah.
because of that. Yeah.
The clouds in this movie look better than anything ever captured in any movie.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, I'm going like, mwah, when I watch this all the time. Because I've
Well,
seen this movie so many fucking times. This is a weird, because it's like a 3 hour long, kind of slow biopic about a fake dude who's an asshole, but I've watched it all the time. It's like my comfort movie. I just love Barry Lyndon so much. Some things that Kubrick changed from the original book is that he added an omniscient narrator. The book is
yeah.
narrated. Yeah, the book is narrated by Barry Lyndon, and he's kind of like an unreliable narrator. And
I would kind of like to have that though, the unreliable narrator. I think that'd be kind of interesting.
I think in a book it works. I don't want to be in the head of the movie
Very Lyndon. That's
Barry
true. Yeah.
Lyndon.
Yeah.
I like the detached, cold narrator that's just like, and so Barry messed up again and had to join a different army because he's an idiot. And then he died sad and alone.
His voice is so like gentle and matter
Mhm.
of fact, talking about just like the ugliest shit.
And the narrator was a convention because the second act of the movie goes on a lot of different wild turns that might seem contrived. Like,
Mhm.
oh, he gave him a horse to kill him, but the way they got around that was by having the narrator set it up beforehand. So it's like, and of course, Brian would go on to be killed by a horse. You're like, oh, well, yeah, naturally. That's where the story's going. The narrator said it.
Yeah, it would be weird if all of a sudden his kid just died because of the horse. It would be kind of an odd. Yeah.
Yeah. And Ryan O'Neal was pissed that they didn't use him for the voiceover since the book is narrated by Barry Lyndon. And he thought that the narrator that got sounded bored and that it made the movie boring because Ryan O'Neal is a famous Hollywood asshole.
At least the narrator's accent's consistent though, you know?
There's a lot of debate as to whether Ryan O'Neal is actually good, which we'll get into during
Mm.
part 5 of this podcast. We're currently on part 2. So the movie came out. The reception at the time was mixed, with many critics feeling that it was cold and detached, and that Kubrick favored the visuals over the story and character. Pauline Kael wrote that Kubrick took a quick-witted story and controlled it so meticulously that he's drained the blood out of it. And she added, "It's a coffee table movie. We might as well be at a 3-hour slideshow for art history majors."
Oh, that's a pretty good burn, but uh, hmm.
That's kind of a bozo burn, where it's
You
like,
think so?
the movie looked pretty, but boring.
No, I would. Yeah,
I
okay.
think
So
so
yeah, that's
too.
I could see how somebody might lose interest if they have no real interest in history or any kind of like just like, but like no, it was incredibly pretty, which I think could distract you from what was going on in the narrative.
Also, I just
But
think
I don't know.
how
Yeah.
bleak it was like worked so well with just like the fucking just the ugliness of the world. Like everyone is so fucking boring and like evil. I just think like the way they kind of sucked all the life and color out of it, even though it is so beautiful and like that contrast too. I think that worked really well.
Yeah, and I don't think it's like the coldest movie Kubrick
No.
made. Like it's weird that this is the one they turned on. There's scenes of genuine emotion, like when Brian dies. It's
Yeah.
not played detached. It's like, yeah, this sucked for Barry. It explains why he's kind of a loner piece of shit afterwards.
Also,
Um,
the people that not being able to like, if people are like it's cold and unfeeling, it's like it is. I think they might just not have a grasp of satire either. Then, because it's like I think it's meant to be very cold and
yeah, that's
meticulous.
also the point is that I think every Kubrick movie is basically a satire when you get down to it. And this is a satire on that time period where everyone's like, "Oh, they dress so fancy and everything's a painting and they must have been gentlemen." And then he shows like, "No, they were actually all scumbags."
Um, you guys think 2001 was a satire? I don't know.
I think so. I think it's a satire on the way that technology is progressing and how it's going to end up being our downfall.
I could see that.
Like, I don't know if you know, but you know the famous like bone toss where it turns into the thing
Into a
in space?
satellite. Yeah,
No, it's not a satellite. It's
like a
a
nuke.
nuclear
I've heard
warhead
that.
in
Yeah,
space. Yeah, so it's
it's just
showing how
pointed at Earth at all
yeah,
times.
it's a satire on how like every single evolution humanity has made has just been because of weapons.
That's so fucking true, by the way.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's
Yeah.
not as overt a satire as like Doctor Strangelove or Clockwork
Yeah.
Orange, but it's still there. Yeah, so the reviews were kind of mixed, but nevertheless, it went on to be nominated for 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Director, and Adapted Screenplay. It won for Best Cinematography, Costume Design, Art Direction, and Adapted Score, all of which I feel it deserves. Then the Oscars that year were also like the most stacked Best Picture nominees maybe ever. Do you guys want to hear the other movies nominated for
Yeah.
Best Picture?
I would,
Yes.
yeah.
So apart from Barry Lyndon, you got Jaws, because
Ooh.
Jaws came out the same year. You got Dog Day Afternoon. You got One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and
Ooh.
Nashville.
Damn.
So One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest ended up
One, right?
winning.
Yeah.
I really love that movie. I think as time goes on, I favor Barry Lyndon more, but that's always been one of my favorites. And of course, Jaws is like the biggest movie of all time at that point, and still one of the most important movies in film history. Dog Day Afternoon slaps. It's fucking awesome. Gabe, have you seen Dog Day Afternoon?
I was about to say I have a blind spot. I haven't seen this one.
That's got to go to the top of your watch list. You would fuck so hard with Dog Day Afternoon. It's got like Safdie Brothers vibes of the '70s, where it's just about like
Mhm.
it's real gritty. It's about a dude who holds up a bank and immediately like fucks it up.
It isn't Al Pacino, is it? I've seen
It's Al
some.
Pacino, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then I have seen
yeah, and
clips
then
of this.
like
Yeah.
he ends up getting like the crowd on his side.
Yes. Was it Sarah? Okay.
It
He
was
says something.
Attica.
Attica. Thank you. Yeah.
Attica,
Attica.
Attica.
Yeah. I thought he
Yeah,
was saying Superco for some reason. I don't know why.
Serpico is a movie he was in.
Serpico. Okay. Yeah. I don't know why that got mixed in my brain. Uh.
Yeah, so all of the I'm not a big Nashville guy. That's my like one Robert Altman that I just really don't get. Like it's influential for sure, but it's never really done anything for me. But yeah, of those five, I personally think that Barry Lyndon's the best. Maybe if you're going for like most important, you got to give it to Jaws, just because
Mm.
that is one of the most influential movies of all time, for better or worse. But yeah, One Flew Over Cuckoo's Nest kind of swept. It won Best Picture, Director, Best Actor, Actress, and Adapted Screenplay, which are the big five. Which Everything Everywhere All at Once just did the same thing
Yeah.
last night.
Yeah. Screenplay. I still resent that Triangle of Sadness didn't get that one.
It had no chance of winning that one, Gabe.
You don't think?
No,
Okay.
it would have been like fourth in line to win that.
I was thinking it was still the best written of all of them, though.
I would have gone Banshees over
Okay, yeah,
Everything
that's it.
Everywhere.
I would take that as well. That's yeah.
Whatever. The Oscars are dumb. At least now, back in the day, they used to mean like, oh yeah, this is probably the best movie of the year. Yeah, The Godfather is probably the best
Yeah.
movie that came out this year. Now it's just like whoever campaigns the hardest, and who gives
Who
a fuck about the Oscars?
or whose online presence is the biggest?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't see many like Triangle of Sadness or the Banshees like fans online.
Well, Gabe, you're not on film Twitter, but Triangle of Sadness had a lot of backlash. A lot of people
Did it?
really fucking hated Triangle of Sadness.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know
I kind of
why.
get their concerns. Like it is very not subtle in its satire.
No, it's not. Yeah, I would. It's not at all. But
Like that part, I kind of get them hate. I thought it was funny. Like
yeah,
I didn't think it needed to be super subtle. Like Doctor Strangelove isn't very subtle
yeah,
either, but
yeah. But
sometimes satire doesn't need to be. But I can also see how that'd be grating if you didn't vibe with the humor of it.
yeah, it's
But
fair.
enough about modern day stinky Oscars. Famously, Ryan O'Neal was not nominated for an Oscar, which would always be a point of contention with him. That everyone around him would always be more praised than him in every single movie he did, including the one with his 7-year-old daughter. Fuck that dude.
Jeez.
Ryan O'Neal is such an asshole.
I might have to get into his lore because I'm a James Woods fan.
James Woods, another famous Hollywood asshole who is very charismatic on screen, but a horrible person behind the
And
scenes.
what also sometimes it seems like if they just point the camera at him, it's like, gee, you just be you, man. Like maybe they don't even know they're recording.
But even like the Virgin Suicides are famous first lost episode. James Woods is so good in that movie, and he's so unlike James Woods, where he's all like this gentle, meek dad. So while critical reception at the time was mixed, it has gone on to be reevaluated and is now considered by a lot of people to be Kubrick's best movie, including myself and Martin Scorsese. So that's one of many things that we share in common. Um, in a list compiled by the Irish Times, Barry Lyndon was named the greatest Irish film of all time. I'm trying to think of other super Irish films. Banshees, obviously, but that's pretty modern. What other fucking Irish movies are
I'm
there?
trying to think. Yeah.
Like, I haven't seen
Uh,
In the Name of the Father, but I know that's super Irish.
mm,
I think is My Left Foot Irish? Again, another one I haven't seen, but
um, there's a lot of, there's a few Scottish-based movies too, like Trainspotting and like
well, that's
Braveheart. But
Scottish, not
I
Irish.
know, those are just what came to my head. I'm like, those are Scottish, huh?
Yeah, basically the same. They talk a little funnier. So yeah, that's basically the abridged production of Barry Lyndon. As with every Kubrick movie, he did a lot of takes for all the actors. At one point, Ryan O'Neal got pissed at how many takes he was doing. He said, "Stanley, how about you do my part and I'll act like you?" To which Stanley said that he was just being kind of cranky.
He's a little cranky.
Famously, Stanley Kubrick was pretty shy around the actress who played Lady Lyndon and would only ever talk to her with like handwritten letters.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's weird.
yeah, he's a little incel, but
No, you know what I would pay to see is a chess game between Stanley Kubrick and Ryan O'Neal. That sounds like a blowout.
I wonder if Ryan O'Neal knows chess.
No.
He knew how he was a so fun fact about the boxing scene, which we didn't really even talk about that. At one point
Yeah,
he just fist
yeah.
fights the biggest dude. So Ryan O'Neal was actually an amateur boxer back in the day, and that's why he looks so convincing in that scene. Which the guy he's boxing is Pat Roach, which I don't, you guys probably don't know him, but he was a stuntman in the 70s and 80s. He appears in all of the Indiana Jones movies. He was the big buff dude that Indiana Jones fights by the plane and gets chopped up.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Nazi, right?
that's him.
Yeah. That's
That's
him?
the dude
Okay, that's
who
cool.
Barry Lyndon fist fights while he's in the army.
No, that dude has something really weird in his left shoulder. Did you guys notice that? He has like a huge indent in his left shoulder that I thought was really bizarre.
I didn't notice that.
It looked like he had surgery there or something. I don't know. Anyways.
Maybe. That's what I got for production. Gabe, do you want to do the Barry Triviandon?
Yeah, give me one sec. I gotta pull this up. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, where are we at? I'm gonna cut this part.
Yeah, I'll cut it. Don't worry.
Reception, trivia. Okay, so here we go. Barry Triviandon. Barry Triviandon.
I figured we
God.
needed a new name since we're going to be switching to Criteria Cast. That'd be weird if you were still calling it Marie and Trivia Net.
I think it'd be funny though, you know. It's like, yeah, cuz
Yeah, you got to know the lore.
the baby's lore or the Criteria Cast lore. Many of the shots were composed and filmed in order to invoke certain 18th century paintings, especially those by Thomas Gainsborough.
Yeah, so what
Uh,
Stanley Kubrick actually did for that was he had this like big art book of like 18th century art, and he would just go through tearing out pages and being like, "Hey, look at this! Like my Zoom background is based on a painting. I don't have it readily available, but
yeah, that's I saw that. That's the scene where what's his name
Lord
confronts him.
Bullingdon,
Bullingdon. Yeah, that's where Bullingdon confronts him, right?
I demand
Satisfaction. Okay, let's see. Want me to keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. The corporal whom Barry fights is a stuntman. Oh, Pat Roach. Yeah, we just got
Yeah, we
this
talked
one.
about that. Some of these
Uh,
I mentioned, I just sprinkled throughout, but
yeah. Let's see. Captain Feeney was a real life high. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. Let's see. I'm just like rereading things. But let's
did I
see.
go over all of these? I'm so sorry if I
You just
did.
might have.
No. It's okay. It's okay. I'll find some. Okay, here's one. Stanley Kubrick would often shoot a great many retake. Oh wait, did we do this one
Yep,
too?
we did that.
Damn it. Okay, I'm trying to find something in order to provide. Oh, nope, no. Oh, okay. Here we go. Ryan O'Neal has a son named Redmond. Really?
Yeah, Redmond, after Redmond Barry, his original
Okay.
name. Which is funny because apparently he didn't watch or like the movie, but yeah, he had a son with Farrah Fawcett, the model, and they named him Redmond.
Ooh.
Yeah, I bet that's a gorgeous baby because Ryan O'Neal's not a bad-looking dude, and Farrah Fawcett is, one of the most iconic models of all time. I'm gonna look up what Redmond O'Neal looks like.
Hopefully he's ugly. That'd be kind of funny.
Ooh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
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 I just googled it too. That's a tough look.
Oh no! Oh my God, the soul patch and mustache.
Isn't
No.
Ooh, that's that's brutal.
Oh my God,
I think
no.
I'm maybe looking at a mugshot right now.
No,
Yeah, he went to jail. He went to jail in 2018 for a bar fight or something.
Weird.
Yeah,
It
but
makes- it makes
He's
sense,
got a really
though.
rough tones. He's got like bright red hair and the palest skin and like, oof. He looks very Irish, not in a good way.
yeah, none of Ryan O'Neal's kids fared very well. Like I know Tatum O'Neal had a problem with alcohol, but also that's because she was in Hollywood acting at the age of 7, which is a bad thing to do to any child.
Also, I feel like he probably
Yeah.
played like the dad probably played a pretty big role in that too. you
Yeah,
know?
no, actually, I have something. So, Griffin O'Neal suggested that their family's problems all stemmed from Ryan. He said, "My father gave me cocaine when I was 11 and insisted I take it."
Wow. Okay. Jesus
Imagine a little
Christ.
11-year-old on cocaine.
Yeah,
Dude,
for-
so I was a little asshole between 11 and 15. So me on coke would be fucking devastating. I think
Yeah.
one time, this is a little funny story. I went into a girl's house, took out the eggs, walked out, and then egged her house with her eggs. So if I was on cocaine, I would be a fucking menace.
That's so funny.
I think that's one of the funnier things I've done too.
All right, now that I have Ryan O'Neal's Wikipedia page, I'm reminded of some of the stuff. I'm going to go through some of his famous assholeness. So, his son Griffin, who he gave cocaine when he was 11, he actually, in 2007, Ryan O'Neal got arrested for shooting at him, which he claimed was in self-defense.
Jesus.
And Ryan actually refused to let Griffin attend Farrah Fawcett's funeral, which leads me into the next grosser little tidbit. At Farrah Fawcett's funeral, Tatum O'Neal, who he hadn't seen in years, came up to him, and Ryan O'Neal started hitting on her, and she had to go, "Daddy, it's me," because he didn't recognize her.
Jesus
At his
Christ.
ex-wife's funeral.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So he's basically IRL Barry Lyndon, right?
Oh yeah, no, his casting is perfect
Yeah.
for the character, which I'm going to steal one of the pieces of trivia Endon.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
One of the other choices for Barry was Robert Redford, as he was also one of the leading actors of the time in Irish which I don't think this movie would work with Robert Redford. He looks like a nice person. Like,
Yeah, he looks too nice.
yeah, Ryan O'Neal looks like a snivelly little piece of shit because he is.
You see. Want me to see if I can find anything else in here? Or?
Wait, I need to do another Ryan O'Neal quote about his children.
Oh.
So he was estranged from his elder 3 children, and he was quoted saying, "I'm a hopeless father. I don't know why. I don't think I was supposed to be a father. Just look around at my work. They're either in jail or they should be."
Jesus, dude. At least he knows he's a failure.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. Redmond, his son, was arrested and charged with attempted murder, robbery, assault, and drug possession after he allegedly tried to rob a convenience store in Santa Monica. I really want to know which one. Like, I work in Santa Monica. It'd be cool to go to that location.
Well, also the fact that, like, why is it... it's so weird to see someone that's probably from such a privileged life trying to rob a convenience store.
I mean, he's privileged, but also his dad is Ryan O'Neal, so...
That's true. Very true.
You know, no choice but to end up as a Lord Bullingdon in that situation. All right. Yeah, Gabe, give us some more trivia.
Let's see. Oh yeah. In order to no, here we go. Stanley Kubrick instructed Marissa Berenson to keep Adela's son in the months before production in order to achieve a period-specific pallor required. Oh, pallor? Okay.
Yeah, like the complexion of your skin. And Marissa Berenson plays Lady Lyndon. Which I don't really have much to add to that. I just thought it was kind of interesting. It reminded me of the tidbit about how Martin Scorsese asked Griffin Dunn not to have sex during the making of After Hours because he wanted him to be tense. And then one day he was filming and he noticed that Griffin Dunn was more relaxed and he's like, "You got laid, didn't you?" Just reminded me of that, and I wanted to bring that up. All right, keep going, Gabe.
Let's see. That one's been done. Okay, yeah. Warner Bros. Would only... Oh, no, that one's been done. Okay, so despite the second billing in this movie, Marissa Berenson, Lady Lyndon, is neither seen nor mentioned until halfway through the film. Moreover, she speaks only 13 lines of dialogue and less than 100 words.
Yeah, I normally hate that in movies where they like count dialogue to prove that there's not strong female characters. They only have blah 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 lines of dialogue. It's like that's not what makes a compelling screen presence solely is dialogue. Like, I think if you counted, Darth Vader has like maybe 15 minutes of screen time in the first Star Wars, and he's super memorable. So I think you can have a character with less words said and still have them be a good presence. Like, just the image of Lady Lyndon in the bath where she just looks miserable is one of the most haunting images in the movie. And I think that's part of the reason he hired her, is that she has such a striking appearance that she's memorable.
Well, also I think her appearance being like amazing and gorgeous is kind of like also meant to be like the enticing allure of the upper class that Barry Lyndon desires is coincided with a very attractive woman. It makes sense, I think, narratively. Well, I think it'd be funny though if she was like horrible looking and he's just trying to use her to get up though. I think they'd also play very well on screen. Anyways, let's see. Leon Vitali, who played the older Lord Bullingdon, went to become Stanley Kubrick's personal assistant and would remain in the role until Kubrick's death. That's kind of funny.
Yeah. He was day one for Kubrick. Him and all Stanley Cubes against the world. He was actually on one of the supplements for the Criterion Blu-ray talking about working with Stanley, and he's like, "Oh, everyone over-exaggerates. He doesn't do that many takes. You know, they say 100 takes, but, you know, a lot of those takes are just rehearsals so that we can feel more comfortable with the characters. And, you know, it's good as an actor that we're allowed to keep going and not just have to do the first take, best take." He's like, gives us a chance to try new things.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, repetition kind of makes perfection, you know?
Like,
so, like
I don't know, when you're an actor of that caliber and you're working with one of the greatest directors of all time, like, shut the fuck up if you have to do 100 takes. Like, yeah, if I was working with Adam McKay or Todd Phillips, that would be annoying, but it's Stanley Kubrick. Like, you should just be so lucky as to be on his set.
Yeah, I feel like if he's also allowing like the actors to like you know, perfect what's going on screen. It's also interesting that he's not like being like over. Is he overbearing? You know more about that. AJ.
I mean, yeah, Kubrick does have a tendency to be overbearing and very controlling of his sets down to the most minor of details.
Okay.
But again,
rating.
like he's fucking Stanley Kubrick. Look at the results.
Yeah, that is enough to say. Like, I mean, look at the results. So yeah.
Yeah. And
I'm gonna like enshrined in movie history. If you're like in a fucking Kubrick movie, you could probably suck it up.
That's most actors who are in his movies. Their most famous role is the Stanley Kubrick movie they're in, like Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah.
In Clockwork Orange.
Yeah. Because I can't think of too many things that he's in aside from that being like the most prolific.
He was in like the Halloween remakes, but
yeah,
that's about it. That's his biggest thing to date. Yeah, also like it's steady employment. Just being an actor, you get a Kubrick movie, you know that you're probably gonna shoot for 18 months. Like that's 18 months of a paycheck. And you get to go to England and Ireland.
Well, kind of.
Well, yeah, Ireland for a little bit.
I was shocked to hear that they didn't actually go to Germany because a lot of those forests kind of looked like those kind of famous German forests.
Yeah, that's the magic of the movies.
So one of the other pieces of trivia is Ryan O'Neal was quoted saying, "Oh, it's all right, but Kubrick completely changed the picture during the year he spent editing it." Which
God, what a dick! Imagine watching that movie. If I starred in Barry Lyndon, I would be singing its praises till the end of time. Like, imagine watching that and just be like, "Yeah, it's all right, whatever."
Well, I feel like that's also kind of a diss on his own performance. It's like, yeah, he had to spend a year fixing your shit.
Yeah. I wonder how hands-on Kubrick was with Ryan O'Neal's performance and whether he's like, yeah, that's the accent you should use. Or if it was another case of
satire.
Kubrick being like, it's funny that he thinks he's doing a good accent.
I think Kubrick was like, let's play, see how people respond to this.
Yeah. What other trivia we got? Is it the last piece of trivia?
That was the one little piece I could find.
Oh, excellent! Because now we're gonna get into questions to consider, and one of my favorite topics that we haven't done in a while. Who would play who if Family Guy did a parody of this?
I think Lois would have to be Lady Lyndon.
Absolutely.
Easy, and I mean Stewie is a shoo-in for Bullingdon, right?
Oh,
gotta be.
Yeah. Easily, yeah. The wanting to fuck your mom and hating your father.
Yeah. The real question then, who would be Brian?
Brian.
Patrick?
I think
Patrick.
Chris. Chris would be Brian.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of funny.
Easy money.
Now we have to get to the tough one. Who would be Barry? I want you guys to discuss because I have an answer prepared with a visual.
I think you're thinking. Are you thinking Quagmire or Joe Swanson?
No, Quagmire is Captain Quinn.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay, I like that. I think it's easy to say Peter's the main character. You got to go Barry, but
you're goddamn right.
You already went there, yeah. That's like the fucking Pabst Blue Rhythm thing.
I had that prepared.
How could Peter not be him?
Yeah, Peter Griffin, Barry Lyndon. I'm gonna get out of the way so that people can get a good look. I'm gonna clip this.
That's got to be the episode art.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think Peter Griffin easily is Barry Lyndon. Then we can talk about some of the minor characters.
I mean, can't you just see Peter blowing smoke in Lois's face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
Oh,
and
so
then what if Joe's the ex because he's in a wheelchair?
Yeah, he's Lord Lyndon.
Lord Lyndon.
Yeah, I was thinking the old pervert for Lyndon, but that'd be pretty good.
Sure. The old pervert could be like half the men in the
movie. No, Herbert would be the two dudes that are kissing in the water. One of them would be Herbert.
But that'd be played great with Chris though too.
I think Chris just gives off such Brian Lyndon
vibes,
energy. They're just like, I want to ride a horse, Daddy.
And then Brian the dog is the narrator.
Yeah, that would work. Because he's like what are you gonna do with Brian? He's not a fun character.
Or Meg. Meg could do it too.
Meg would be his cousin Nora.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's pretty much perfect.
Who else are Grogan? Who would be his buddy that he's like, kiss me, boy? Would that be
I think it'd be Cleveland. Would
Cleveland?
be funny. I think Cleveland would be funny.
Yeah, Cleveland would be Grogan. Oh, who would the Captain Feeney, the one who robs him?
Ooh. Who would be Captain Feeney?
I think
I'd
who's
have to be
the
like
peg-legged
the
guy?
newscaster.
Oh, what was his name? Tom? Tom Tucker?
Maybe.
That could work. That could work.
I don't know.
What
Think of
about
other
what's
characters.
the peg-legged guy from Family Guy, the one who's got like peg legs and peg arms? He could be Captain Feeney.
I was thinking just because it's Family Guy, it could just be the big chicken.
That would no, that's it.
Yeah.
It's the
could
chicken.
It could just be the chicken, yeah.
What other characters are there in this? Or would the big chicken be the guy that he fights in the army?
Oh
That'd
yeah,
be good.
gotta be
That'd
right.
good.
Yeah, and then the scene goes on for like 10 more minutes. All right, I think that settles it for that.
That's a good segment. That's a good addition to the baby spot. I like it.
Yeah. All right. Next question we already talked about is Lord Lyndon the biggest cuck. I think so. Another question to consider, is Ryan O'Neal good in this movie? Because that's a big point of contention for a lot of people who don't like it, is they say that he's miscast or that he's flat and boring, his accent's bad. How do we feel?
His accent's obviously bad, and honestly, I think the role could be handled by anybody that's proficient. But like, I feel like Kubrick was meant for the satirical angle, so I think it's perfect.
I think so. Sometimes you just got to look at the final product and say, like, I mean, it's all a package deal, and you can like think, oh, could we have done this, or could they have done this or this? I mean, it turned out fucking great.
Yeah.
And like, even not looking at it through that lens, I think he did well. I think he did good for that character for sure.
Yeah, I also think he was good, period. Like, not even just like, oh, well, disregard him. I think he's good. I don't think this performance would work in like a different movie if it hadn't been made by Stanley Kubrick and it hadn't been a little bit like the joke was on him. Like, what would
I think like his eyes are like so dead. His face is just so like blank always. I think it works pretty perfectly.
Well, I was saying that's like literally everyone in Los Angeles is just like blank-eyed and trying to get to the top. So
Yeah.
I described Los
Yeah,
Angeles
there you
as it's a city of people with no internal monologue. All right, so is this Kubrick's best film?
Yes.
IMO, yes.
Oh yeah, okay. I think it might be in the minority here, but like I love 2001. I also love FMJ, and although this movie was fantastic, those ones just still kind of resonate more with me.
Yeah, I can respect pretty much most answers when you say what's Kubrick's best. If you say Lolita, then I'm gonna question you, but yeah, most of his movies I could be like, yeah, that's a respectable choice. Like if someone had said fucking Paths of Glory or something, I'd be like, that's an outside answer, but all right. We'll cover Paths of Glory on Criteria Cast. That's a low key, great underrated Kubrick movie. That's one of my top 5.
Top 5. Okay, yeah, I gotta watch them. We'll see. Yeah.
I wonder if I have.
Me too.
Have I made a letterbox list of Kubrick yet? I gotta look this up. Because I just want to run down what my picks would be of Stanley Cubes.
We got Lyndon on 1.
Yeah.
You have a Clockwork in there for your top 5?
I don't know if it'd be top. Okay, I found my Stanley Kubrick list. I'm gonna read to you what it is. So my top I just ranked all of them. A couple of them I haven't seen, so I just guessed where they would be. Yeah, my number 1 is Barry Lyndon. 2 is Doctor Strangelove. 3 is 2001. 4 Paths of Glory. And then 5 and 6 are kind of tied. Are Full Metal Jacket and Eyes Wide Shut. I think Eyes Wide Shut is probably a better movie, but I really dig Full Metal Jacket's first act so much. I think that might be my favorite things Kubrick's ever made is the first part of Full Metal Jacket. The second part is definitely not as good. I still like it. I think it's like a fun hangout war movie, but that first act is so fucking... It's just so good. It honestly might have worked better if it was just a short film he made. Probably would be remembered more fondly.
Yeah.
And then after that, I got Clockwork Orange, The Killing. Haven't seen The Killing in a while, but I remember thinking it was really dope. About a bunch of dudes who like rob a racetrack.
This is pretty cool.
The Shining. I've never been a big Shining guy. Like I
Yeah.
like I think it's very iconic and that I get a lot out of. But I don't know. It's never really stuck for me.
I never really found it all that unsettling either. You know.
I definitely did when I was like a child, but now not so much.
I thought that movie was super unsettling. I watched that when I was younger too, though.
Yeah, when I was 8, I definitely would have said The Shining is very unsettling. Now I'm like, it's good.
I remember having like nightmares about the elevator with the blood.
That was really.
Oh, and
fucking-
also
yeah.
something about the furry costume blowjob.
Yeah,
That haunted me.
that part is genuinely unsettling when it does that zoom in and it's like it's got the what are they called, rattler things in the background. Like I like The Shining, don't get me wrong. I think it's
Oh yeah.
a good movie. I really like the underlying subtext behind it. The like little sprinkles of talking about Native American genocide and stuff like that. But I don't know. Not my fave. 10 Killer's Kiss. Haven't actually seen it, but I guessed where it would be. Because number 11 is Lolita, which Lolita is a tough one.
So I'm very like uninformed as far as Lolita is concerned. What's it even about?
Oh boy. Strap in, Gabe.
You don't
So
know what it's
Lolita
about.
Lolita's
I know,
about this
no.
writer who falls in love with a 15-year-old girl and marries her mother so that he can be close to her.
That's fucked.
Yeah, and then her mom commits suicide because she finds his journal where he just talks
wants
about how
to-
much he loves her. Her name's not Lolita. What's her fucking name? He like calls her Lolita.
You got pet
Um,
names for her too. That's weird. That's
Yeah,
funny.
it's a weird movie. It's like one of the. It's really well made, but just the subject matter is so fucked up that I can't get past it. I'm like, why'd you make this stand? You could have made anything.
He really fucking can make anything. I can't emphasize that enough after seeing this.
Yeah,
'Cause
wish
the
he was
last-
still around.
Yeah. The last two Kubrick films I've seen was 2001 and then this, and I'm like, what the fuck? How do you have such range?
Imagine if Stanley Kubrick made Sucker Punch.
Wow. I don't even fucking know what to say to that. I don't think he would. I don't even think the thought it would cross his mind of samurai with minigun. You know, I don't think that thought can exist in his mind. Seriously, I feel like Sucker Punch would maybe kill him.
Yeah, I'm glad we don't live in a world where Stanley Kubrick ever lived to see the Marvel Cinematic Universe or the works of Zack Snyder. This is gonna be so sad when we have to go back to Zack Snyder next week. All right, other question. Is this the best film we've watched for the podcast so far?
I don't know. In the Mood for Love was a banger.
It's tough because for me, the three, I was on for Lost in Translation, In the Mood, and this one.
Yeah.
I think Barry Lyndon's got to be a little better than In the Mood, just because it's so much more epic.
Yeah, I
Like,
vote for
it's,
Barry
it's
Lyndon.
it's as like good, but like more of it.
Yeah, it's wild, Jarren, that you have been on our 3 episodes where we actually cover a good movie. Not just like our 3 best, but like the 3 sole good movies we've covered on this.
After our In the Mood ep, I told Noah and Gabe, you guys got to have me on for a bad one.
Yeah, we haven't
So,
done that yet. Hey,
we
if you
don't-
want to come
yeah.
on?
We don't have a guest for Army of the Dead, so
Yeah, yeah. If you want to
We'll
torture
see,
yourself
we'll
with
see.
us.
you might have to be a co-host. I think Noah might not come back
Yeah,
after
no.
Justice League.
That might break his
Oh, are you
back.
guys gonna watch a 4-hour
Yeah,
DC movie?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yuck.
We're just doing a commentary on it. I'm not watching a movie and then talking for 2 hours about it. We're just getting it out of
No.
the way.
Yeah. Also, how are we going to screen that? Are we going to like screen share? Or are we going to like?
Yeah, I'll screen share. I've seen it before, and also, who cares? Yeah, I think this is the best movie we've watched for the pod. I think this is going to be the best movie we watch for the pod for a while, at least in my personal opinion. I know that you and Noah might think others are better, but just scheduling wise, there's not a whole lot coming up that I think are better than Barry Lyndon. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
I can't argue with the fact that this movie is far more meticulous and then also more interesting visually than Playtime. But once we get to Playtime, I'm going to be riding hard for that movie.
I've never seen Playtime. I hope
I
that's
love
best.
Playtime.
I know it's been in my watch list for so long that
Yeah.
yeah, I hope Playtime is one of my favorites. I'm really looking forward to all of these because I think like 90% of each of your picks I've never seen, so that'll be good.
That's kind of funny. Like, yeah, that's kind of cool that we're gonna be like getting into each other's heads that way.
I know I tried to pick a lot of movies that I don't think you guys have seen. Like I'm excited for our episodes on M and Night of the Hunter. I think you guys will both really like those.
A lot of movies I picked too are ones I knew I haven't seen yet. Like obviously, like Kurosawa's documentary I haven't seen. I want to see it. It'd be cool to
Oh
like
wow,
talk to you guys about it. So
that's cool. Yeah, I need to do some of that planning movies that I haven't seen. I wanted to do ones that I own so that way I can like talk about the supplements too, which I wanted to do for this, but I didn't have time to go back and rewatch the supplements.
you mean like Kubrick's like? Does Kubrick have like what are they called? I know it's supplemental, but it's
Commentary?
like commentary. Yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
there's no commentary by Kubrick. I think he would have been, well, the commentary was actually created by Criterion. They were the first
Really? I
home
didn't know
media
that.
supplier to make a commentary back when they did laser discs.
I remember,
But
I used to love that when you like would be like commentary, like okay, let me get into this movie a little bit more.
oh, dude, I fuck with commentary so hard.
Yeah,
As a little kid, I would like solely listen to commentaries most of the time. Like I'd see the movie once and then watch the commentary over and over again. So I was a little nerd, like, ooh, that's why you picked that shot. Ooh, it was a tough day on set. Ooh. I don't. There's no Kubrick commentary on it. I can't remember if there is one at all, but yeah, I watched a lot of the special features when I first got it a year ago. Barnes and Noble twice a year has a sale on Criterion's, and back when I actually had money, I would just go ham buying like 5 at a time.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah, Barry Lyndon was one of them. There was one summer where I straight up bought like 20 Criterion's because I had so much extra money. I had been working 2 jobs up until then.
oh, I know what you're talking about with that time period. Yeah,
Yeah, and I just had so much extra fucking money that I just went supermarket sweep and spent it all on Criterion's, which a lot of them we will talk about soon. So I guess I can use it as a business expense.
I swear to God, I think I eat most of my money, and I just like buy so much fucking food.
Yeah, man, it's hard out there.
No, dude, I just be eating Oreos. I'm having a good. I'm having a good month. Not working out. I'm just eating Oreos. It's a good time.
Hell yeah, brother. I've been doing a lot of late night snacking. Addie's a big late night snacker, so
Dude, have you ever eaten 24 Oreos in one sitting? I have. And my God.
definitely, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Dude, we
Fuck.
love a good binge eat every once in a while.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude.
Get really high, just
You
eat
know,
a shit ton of
I like
bad.
to get I get a glass of milk, put the Oreos in there, mash it up with a fork. That's
hell
like,
yeah.
like down bad.
Wait, what?
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
respect that. That's fucking fun.
Yeah.
What
bud.
I like to do, what I like to do is I get a fork and I'll just like let it sit in there till it starts to like dissolve, and then last minute I'll yank it out and eat
Yes.
it. But when you drink it, there's like a bunch of like Oreo stuff and residue at the bottom. You're like, oh yeah.
This is like basically the plot of The Whale.
Yeah, dude. I need to get I want to try that. I want to get a pizza and like fold 2 pizzas together and get some ranch.
I've done that,
sounds like a
man.
binge.
There was back when I lived alone, I didn't have a whole lot of plates. So I was like, I don't have anywhere to put this, and I have to eat it quick or my cat's gonna jump all over me. So I would just like fold it in half and eat as much as I could. Like I would just bite into it. I lived like a rat for about a year.
Yeah. Well, it's what you gotta do, you know.
Yeah, we're better off now. We have a comforter and bed sheets. You guys want to hear some 1-star letterbox reviews of Barry Lyndon?
No, but please
Sure.
go ahead. I'm
All right.
fucking mad.
So this first one is from an account called Mudnuts22.
This guy has like a fucking what's it called? Punisher flag, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, he gave this movie a 1/2 star, and he said, "Simp boy wanna bang his cousin, but in the most boring way possible. Same concept done better is commonly available on the hub." So he's talking about
Okay.
Pornhub.
I think that's supposed to be a joke, but even still, like, yeah.
It's definitely a joke, but also bonehead takes all
Yeah.
around. This next one I included because it's so fucking confusing. It's also a 1/2 star. It's from an account just called CD. And the review is, this was like watching an episode of Monday Night Raw.
That
What
doesn't
the
make
fuck?
any sense.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, what the fuck does that mean? We need to unpack this. Like, what could he possibly be referring to? I was like, is he talking about the fist fight scene that lasts like 4 minutes?
Is he talking about like football? There's like Monday Night Football. I don't even know what Monday Night Raw
Well,
is.
Monday Night Raw
Monday
is
Night Raw is
professional
WWE.
wrestling. Yeah, it's professional wrestling.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I don't like. Is this like a thing I'm missing where he also thinks that's boring? Like, do I have to know this dude to get that?
Oh, I could see that. I could see that. Can't you see that on like on Monday Night Raw? I demand satisfaction. That's a plot
Yes.
for sure. Or like, oh, like, you trying to fuck my mom? I want to fuck my mom.
I'm just imagining Monday Night Duels. It's like John
Dude, I
Cena
would-
just shoots
Oh, fuck.
Rey Mysterio
Oh, no.
dead. Yeah, the Undertaker.
I would pay so much money to see the Undertaker shoot John Cena in the fucking face.
Monday Night Duels. This is from an account called Ethan. This was boring as shit, and then he puts an edit. Edit, I forgot to mention, I did love the extreme gay energy in this movie. That was awesome, but otherwise this blew ass.
He came back to edit that one. Extreme
I
gay
guess
energy.
I mean I do like the idea that British people are just kind of gay on principle. I think that's kind of funny. But
They're
I don't know.
fops. They're just fops.
I don't even know what that is. What's a fop?
They're a fancy fop. It's like a person who...
A foppish dandy.
Yeah, a foppish
Oh, okay.
dandy.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, there is gay energy with the like two background characters who are kissing in the water.
Yeah, the guys that are literally gay. Yeah, those guys are a little
The
gay.
pastiest men ever kissing in the
Oh.
coldest water, just kind of holding each other's arms while Barry steals one of their horses.
That was kind of funny.
This whole movie's funny. It's a comedy through and through. Like,
Yeah.
I think most of Stanley Kubrick's movies are comedies secretly.
Oh,
even
yeah.
the ones that
Yes.
aren't outwardly like Eyes Wide Shut's hilarious.
Yeah.
So
I think
funny,
Clockwork Orange is hilarious. Yeah.
That one's even more like overtly comedic. Like I
Yeah.
think Doctor Strangelove I think is the only one that's
Oh, yeah.
classified as a comedy. But yeah, all of his movies are funny, and he's a funny dude. This comes from a guy named Fraser Costin or Cosin. It's WTF is this? 3 hours of, and then all caps, old white men saying dumb English words and sometimes shooting each other. Bro, no thanks. Give me giant robots and explosions any day, dude.
Mm.
Again, that
I
feels
do
like
think
satire.
this movie
but-
could have used more POC representation.
I'm not even going to touch that, but the giant robots and explosions any day. It's like, well, we got a certain director that we're covering that would be right up your alley, my guy.
Yeah.
I need to wait. Hold on. I need to see what this dude gave Sucker Punch if he's seen it. One
No,
second.
you know, no one's seen Sucker Punch, dude. No one has sat down and be like, you know what sounds like? Oh, you know what I want to watch tonight? Sucker Punch.
I mean, we did that, so
No. We had to for content. No one just like leisurely watches Sucker Punch.
Oh my god, this dude also gave a half star to Boogie Nights and 12 Angry Men.
Okay, fuck this guy.
His favorite movies are 2001 Drive and Synecdoche, New York.
Those are all good movies, but like I still, yeah.
I just
like,
the duality of this man or
Yeah, for real.
person. I don't know what their gender is, and I don't want to get canceled. They have shit taste, but I
Eh.
will respect their gender. They give good star ratings to a bunch of good movies. Let me find, when the fuck did Sucker Punch come out? 2011. Should I follow this guy? Just
Yeah,
like
sure.
all of his reviews. I did like the review, the one I mentioned. I'm not seeing Sucker Punch on here. Probably.
I think
for
it's
the
kind of
best.
funny. I think it's kind of funny to hype up people that you think are fucking stupid too. You know. I
Oh
think
yeah,
it's
this
fun.
is gonna be a common recurring bit on Criteria Cast where I just pull up some 1-star reviews. So this is from an account called J Diego, and J Diego writes, "It's true that there is a Kubrick film for everyone. This one is for the type of people that do not enjoy having a good time."
Damn,
so me.
Okay.
That's funny. I'll give him that.
Yeah, you're not wrong. This is from Emily. Nothing? Happens?
Okay, a lot of fucking stuff happens.
I
That's
know,
not
just
fair.
like that's just factually wrong. A lot
he
of stuff
literally
happens.
He travels across Europe fighting for the wrong army. Like, that's pretty fucking interesting.
Like, what more do you want to happen? The
Not
man
enough
goes from
robots.
a poor Irish peasant to getting everything and being part of the aristocracy back to being nothing. Like, what? A lot of stuff happens. Like, it doesn't happen at a super fast pace, but it's also because it's letting you take in the visuals and stories.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Fuck you, Emily.
Yeah. Emily, yeah. L take.
All
L
right.
plus ratio on that one.
This last letterbox review comes from an account called Luella X, and the review just says "boring, Lyndon."
I kind of respect that take.
I respect the review, not the ideology behind it, but the play on words. Like, all right, okay, if you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
This is all I have for the outline. I got a couple final thought questions that I'm going to introduce. So this is our segment. I'm going to ask our guest, Jarren, if you were allowed in the Criterion closet, which movie would you take? And what movie would you like to add to the Criterion collection?
Sure, when you say take, you mean like remove from it or just own?
Like own, like if they ever let you do a Criterion closet video, like which one would be your first choice?
Oh, I don't know. Did they have any Cronenberg vibes in there?
Oh, they got a ton of Cronenbergs. They got
That's my
Crash.
guy. I would take Dead Ringers if that's in there.
I'm not sure if that one is, but let me pull up some Cronenbergs that are in the collection.
I don't know
Cronenberg.
that much about.
Oh, Dead Ringers is in the Criterion collection. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, the
That's my
Cronenbergs they
absolute
got.
shit.
The Cronenbergs they got are Scanners, Videodrome, Naked Lunch, The Brood, Crash, and Dead Ringers.
Dead Ringers is my shit.
Okay.
I'll take that one.
All right, and if there was one movie that you would like to see added to the Criterion collection, what would it be?
Bad Grandpa.
Hell yeah.
So isn't the criteria for the Criterion collection? Isn't it like isn't it just like movies that define a genre, or is it just like classics?
It's like kind of movies that are a little more niche, but also, super hoity-toity. They're the movies that make you feel smarter for having watched them. So they got a lot of Kubricks in there. They got a lot of fucking what's his face, Tarkovsky.
Yeah,
but also
I thought it was more just like what's canon, and I was gonna say then you do need to put Jackass in there.
Yeah, they could.
Yeah.
I mean, every once in a while they put
could.
in a more populous movie, like Wall-E just entered the Criterion collection.
I think it belongs there actually. Yeah.
Honestly, really, it's mostly what they can get the rights to, but
That's true. Yeah.
it does have kind of like an air of sophistication. So, yeah, like Uncut Gems just entered the Criterion collection. I just got that. The movie looks
it belongs
great.
there. Yeah.
That movie has a funny fucking commentary on it. Whenever we do Uncut Gems, I'm gonna make you all listen to the commentary because it's so goddamn funny.
Wait, does this
Who does the commentary? Is it the directors?
It's the Safdie brothers, yeah.
Okay.
At one point, one of them gets up to pee, and you can hear them peeing in the background. The commentary is so fucking funny for that movie. All right, let's wrap it up.
Good time or Uncut Gems?
Ooh, good time.
Oh, which one do we prefer?
Yeah,
That's fucking tough, man.
I'm staunching on Good Time, but I love Uncut Gems. Don't get me
That's
wrong,
it.
but
I know. I had got to argue with my friend about that. I didn't honestly love Uncut Gems that much. It was great, of course, but
I love them both pretty much
I didn't
equally.
love it like I thought it would. Yeah.
Fuck, man, that's really tough. I've seen Uncut Gems way more times than Good Time. Uncut Gems is one of the most rewatchable movies for me. I think
my
that's
God,
another
yeah.
one that is just so fucking funny from the start to finish. I quote Uncut Gems with Addie all the time. I'm gonna go Uncut Gems just because you guys are saying Good Time, but I love them both. I would love for a Good Time to enter the Criterion collection. That would be an instant buy for me.
do you think is Drive in the Criterion collection?
No.
You don't think so? No.
It might be soon. I don't know if they get the rights to it.
Yeah.
Fucking every once in a while they have a really out there one where I'm like, huh. Okay.
I don't think Drive's a lot smart. I just think it's a good movie.
I haven't seen Drive in forever. I thought it was epic when I was like 16, but
Oh yeah, that's kind of who it's like played for. But like I still stick to. I think it's a good movie. I just rewatched it not too long ago.
I'll think it's good too. At least from what I remember.
It's definitely the. It's I don't know, kind of a hot take. I feel like Baby Driver is like Drive, but like even dialed. I don't know. That might give me some hot water with AJ.
I don't really care about Baby Driver, honestly.
No, we were so hyped when we saw that though.
Yeah, back in like 2017, immediately
That's
coming
true.
out of the theater, I was like, yeah, that was really good. I have not watched it since.
Fair, yeah.
You guys want to do some final thoughts on Barry Lyndon?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't have anything left in the outline. If y'all want to shoot the shit about B. Lynn, let me know. But we went through everything I wanted to talk about. Oh, wait, fuck. Before we go, Jarren, have you seen it goes around film Twitter every now and then, but someone remixed Barry Lyndon with how many problems you got? A lot.
Oh yeah, I have seen that. Yeah,
Yeah, the Barry
that was a
Lyndon.
good edit. That I watched that. It made me want to rewatch it.
Mm-hmm. It's so perfect. Like, this is a huge movie on film Twitter.
Yeah.
How many problems you got? A lot.
I'll pose you guys a question. Do you ever watch a movie about like a TV show or anything about like a fucking depressed drunk and like I'm thinking about specifically when he's like slumped in the chair and they have to carry him out. Do you ever see a scene like that and feel like, damn, I could go for a beer right now?
Okay, yeah. You say that, I was like, man, a drink does sound kind of good tonight.
I'm trying to get slumped drunk.
I had a bad night last night, so a drink does sound kind of good in retrospect.
Damn, that sucks, man.
That's whatever. It's okay. But yeah, no, I could go for a beer.
A beer.
I got fairly drunk before this pod.
Fair, very fair. Yeah.
I've been staying sober for these.
To go to.
What was that?
Oh, have you? I had a birthday dinner to go to at St. Birch. Happy hour ends at 6 p.m. there.
Ends at 6
And my friends are like, well, yeah, they're like, we'll meet there at 5:30. So I get there at 5:30, and then everyone is like, oh, we're all going to be a little late. And it turned out they were very late. And then happy hour is ending. So I ordered a seafood platter, 6 oysters, and 6 drinks, and sat there alone for like 25 minutes waiting for everyone to come. It was tough.
Oh, no.
I eventually did make it out. Yeah, we're celebrating a friend of the pod, SD Dillard's birthday.
We got to get Esty on the pod.
Oh yeah.
Trying to think what movies she would be down with.
She can hop on an Addy app.
Yeah, true.
Would be good. Yeah.
Oh, they would love that. All right, let's do some final thoughts because we covered everything. Gabe, go first.
I mean, this movie is like fucking amazing. It's meticulous. It looks amazing. It's kind of funny. It's kind of got it's got a little bit of something for everybody. If you don't like it, it's just because you're fucking dumb, and I can't help you there. You know. And maybe it's not for stupid people, so maybe you got to consider that if you don't like it. You know. But yeah, no. I loved it. I'm glad I got to see it. And fuck Ryan O'Neal. Really, yeah. I give it a.
Sounds like a dickhead.
Yeah, he's a fucking prick. I give it a. I think I'd give it a. I demand satisfaction out of coming, as far as my rating.
What if that was how they dueled instead? Was I demand satisfaction and they had to jerk each other off, whoever came first?
No. They had a sword fight with their dicks. Yeah, and whoever came first lost.
That's what they should just do. They should just bust out a tape measure for
You know, British people will be losing a lot if they try to fight in wars too.
Yeah, too. Irish going up against the British, got nothing. I don't even know if that's a stereotype, but I just feel like Irish people have big hogs.
Yeah, definitely bigger than British people.
Yeah, easily.
If you're an imperialist country, that's some small dick energy, you know.
Jarren, what are your final thoughts on Barry Lyndon?
It's fucking epic, and it's like the epitome of like when people talk about like movies. It's like you could freeze anywhere, and it's a painting. It's like the epitome of that. It looks so good. Even if you're like bored by it, you can fucking turn the volume off and just look at it. It's so nice. That's what made me first watch it. I saw a bunch of screenshots of it on Twitter. And I was like, damn, I gotta see that shit. It's fucking beautiful. But yeah, epic movie.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's one of my top 4 on Letterboxd right now. Usually I like to keep it there. I've seen it countless times, and I'll probably keep watching it. As soon as I get my projector working, that's going to be the first one I project. Yeah, I think it's a masterpiece, and definitely the best we've covered on the podcast. Maybe the best we ever will. And I'm giving this one a good time, no alcohol required. All right, let me do some wrap up. So next week we're getting back into Zaddy Snyder. We're going to be talking Man of Steel. We got a good guest for that one, so be sure to come back. It'll be a very dour and different episode than this. I don't think there's going to be a lot of joy and merriment. Jarren, do you have anything to plug?
Shit. No.
Okay.
My Venmo is at Jarren Lucas.
Yeah.
Yeah, as always, send us money, send us pictures of your dick. We'll rate them. Send us your Barry Lyndon takes. If you got a hot take on Barry Lyndon that we can shit on next episode, send it to us. Thank you for listening. Soon this will be all we're doing is Criteria Cast. You won't have to hear us talk about fucking like Michael Bay or
and we
anyone.
won't have to watch fucking like.
Actually, Michael Bay does have a movie in the Criterion Collection.
What the fuck does he have in the Criterion Collection?
Armageddon.
Oh my fucking god!
That's right.
It's out of print. It was like one of their first releases when they weren't like the prestigious home media supplier, but he's got one in there. We could cover it.
Fuck off, dude. We're not doing that.
I want to add it to the schedule just to keep toying with you.
I'm fucking mad. No, don't do that, please.
Nah, I'm not
just
doing
like,
that yet.
Instead, you should just like do like Deep Impact for the memes,
Yeah.
We could have a double feature like Deep Impact and fucking Armageddon. Those
And
came
then
out in the
drink
same year.
cyanide.
Yeah. Those came out in the same year, by the way. How is that not? I don't know. It's so weird.
I don't know, space boom boom movies. But yeah, this has been Criteria Cast. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you in the closet, and as always, invest in physical media, because someday every movie you love will be wiped off of the streaming service, and all you'll have left is the discs that you bought. And we'll see you in the Criterion Closet.